lose. But you're just
swingers learned that.
You have, you're in your league because there are 8, 10 teams?
10, yeah.
10. Yeah, so you have more legit starters every week than spots. And so that unfortunately happens. But Puka Nacua, to be fair, this came out of nowhere.
Oh, I picked him up after week 1.
No. He was great earlier this year. I'm saying this game that he had last night was out of line with what he had recently been producing.
Yeah. No, there was a point where he was an every week play, and then we went away from that when Kupp came back. And I think that's what makes them that. And then Kyron Williams. I mean,
Kyron is legit.
Williams is a stud. Yeah. And so he's back, and they're real. I mean, you look at the NFC right now. Right now, if the playoffs started, they would be the 6, and they'd play Detroit. You imagine that? Stafford back playing in Detroit?
Yes, I can imagine that. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
I can imagine a scenario in which we at some point travel to Baltimore and Joe Flacco takes on the Ravens. I mean, there are a lot of intriguing potential storylines out there.
Yeah, there certainly are. And that one, it was 27-7, and then the Saints kind of made a run at it late. The Saints sitting there now at 7-8. Tampa Bay and our old guy Baker Mayfield with a chance to really put a stranglehold on. Now, Lawrence is going to play this week. He practiced today, so he's going to go. So that changes things, from the Jacksonville standpoint significantly. But there's an opportunity here for Tampa Bay to put a stranglehold on the South with a win.
Absolutely. It's a division that they certainly have an opportunity, as you mentioned, to kind of really seize control of it. That's what's fun about this. That this weekend, while it's not the quarterback matchups maybe you thought it was going to be, it's not a lot of the things that you thought it was going to be at this time of year, but there are a lot of games that have real implications this weekend. And I think I like that. That's fun.
I'll be honest with you, buddy. I think there's only like 2 that don't. In terms of no implications, I think it's just Washington Jets. I mean, there's nothing there. And the only other one where there is not, honestly, and I guess Chicago's still technically in it, so there's something there. The only other one is Arizona-Chicago.
Yep.
And Chicago hasn't been eliminated, but it's so uphill. That's it. Every other game, one of the 2 participants or both are either in it, still in it, or fighting for seeding across the board. So you're right that we are not getting the Hollywood heavyweight showdowns from a quarterback perspective that we thought we would get. You are getting incredibly compelling matchups in all but really 2 windows.
Yeah, that's why it's really exciting. That's why this is fun. This is what it's all about, right? Yeah. And you think about a game like ours, we can clinch. Depending on what happens, the Texans, they could come out of this in first place alone in the AFC South. There's so much at stake, and that's why these games, it takes on such a great importance and is so fun. And you got a couple of quarterbacks who are veterans, in Flacco in his 17th season, Keenum in his 11th, guys that they've been around, they probably have been, yearning to play in a meaningful game like this for a long, long time. For Joe Flacco, it's been years. For Case Keenum, years, the year, and he helped us out on that Thursday night back in 2021, but these are big stakes. It's fun. That's what makes this so fun. And last night, we were at kind of a holiday party with a bunch of other couples. Had a great time. Shout out El Diz for the fine Cioppino. And we, weren't really paying attention, but I was paying attention on the phone, and it's just like, because even this one, even for a Thursday, not just for the scores, this one had a little bit of juice to it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it did. I was double screening last night. We made the executive decision, I guess, to watch Christmas Vacation with the oldest. I thought that he was ready. He's 12, so it was his first experience.
Did he love it?
There's no lines, Russ. Yeah, of course. Big Eddie guy. Who's not? Lots to like there with Eddie and all of it. It was joy. I've watched it every year since my whole life. I can't remember ever this time of year not watching Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
So it was fun to share it with him, to see his experiences. I was watching it, though, and I was thinking, like, if they did this now, who would be the guy who could play like a Clark W. Griswold, like tall, handsome, snap quick, sense of humor, and yet also like kind of lovable and all of those things. And the guy I settled on was Vaughn.
So
how has Vince Vaughn not done this? Isn't he that guy? Can't he do that now?
I don't know that he could pull off being the last great family man like Clark Griswold. Like, even you think about Four Christmases, you think about all of his, like, he still is underlying.
It'd be a different tone.
Underlying his whole behavior is a complete narcissism and selfishness and lack of care really for anybody else.
Well, Clark's got a little of that too, other than the pool. I mean, he's the one who goes on the sled. He's the one doing the lights.
On the varnish. Well, I think they were all afraid of the varnish.
I don't think he wasn't getting ready for Russ.
No. Clark.
He's the one who wanted to do the tree. Like,
he's out there doing the lights, though.
Yeah, it's all for his own pleasure.
Probably that's right.
Yeah.
Vaughn's the one who, when you were saying it,
others.
Vaughn came to my mind as well. I feel like Will Ferrell could do it also.
He's just not as handsome. Like Chevy Chase, pretty handsome guy.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have kind of the charisma where a woman working a counter in a mall can model some things. I mean, he kind of had that. I don't know if Ferrell has that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good. It was fun. He loved it. And so my goal is to watch one of them. My wife's been watching all this stuff with all of them. But, like, I watched the cartoon Grinch with Bootsy 2 nights ago, and then I watched Vacation with NBC last night. So that was a win.
Huge win.
And it was great. We have an update on our injury report, my friend.
Okay.
And where are you with so Batonio back at practice today, but it looks like Awak and Thornhill out.
Yes, they are out. Batonio questionable, and I feel good about Joel Batonio being back. Ethan Postic's going to be back, so good news for the Cleveland Browns.
There is one little cloud, and that's Awak, and coach saying there's a potential he may need knee surgery.
Man,
oh jeez.
He practiced Wednesday, sat out Thursday, sat out Friday. Coach not ruling out that fact that our starting linebacker may need surgery.
Yeah, you don't like that.
Not great.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
It does, very much so. Very much so.
So is that Fields then would insert in there, or is that Todd?
Yeah, so I mean, like, for example, last week you did not have him. You did not have Awak.
Sure.
JOK played 63 of the 71 defensive snaps, and it looks like he might be playing all the snaps going forward. Tok played 71 snaps last week, all 71 of them on defense, and Tony Fields played 23. So it's, we're pretty much a base nickel team anyway. So when you get some of those 3 linebacker sets, goal line, things like that, Fields will be the 3rd linebacker in. And remember, his last trip to Houston was quite productive for him. In that game, he had a pick 6 and he had a forced fumble. So let's go.
Yeah. So that's where you stand on this point. So if Awak is indeed, if that's the way that it's trending and he misses the rest of the season, what's that bring it up to? Like 116? I mean, like how many original starting 22s have been lost if he indeed is added to that list? And then even you got DeJuan Jones, who ended up being a starting 22 and was a star, and probably had to do a Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Yeah, absolutely. And for this one where, you're looking at Tok playing a huge percentage of snaps, this is a return to Houston where he tore his ACL a year ago.
Oh, God, that's right.
That was the game. So you think about all that he's accomplished since then is pretty incredible for him to be back and playing at a high level like he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, obviously it's a turf field down there, and I just saw this morning, read a story that Minneapolis, in Minnesota, in the stadium up there, they're going to there's some new turf that is supposed to be a much safer version than what is in play. So they're going to that. I guess other teams have moved to it as well. I know one of the teams that has yet to move to it is Cincinnati. They're still with the old turf, which was kind of proven to be a little bit more dangerous. But it looks like more and more. And as technology comes, like turf is going to get better and better and better. Also, though, there is the technology to grow the grass. I mean, if you're willing to invest in it, Real Madrid is growing grass underground so that they can play on a grass
I love
field.
that.
So you can do it if you want to. You can do grass if you want to bear the expense of it. You can certainly do it going forward. What is, this is what, and I'll acknowledge this is one of those ones where, like, I lose touch a little bit because of the holiday season. You Gibby, you guys are you're knee deep in the muck, and you're flying tomorrow to a game to play on Saturday and Christmas Eve, and then you got the family and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
What is this time of year like for NFL teams? I know how hard it is, obviously, on all of you guys, but what is it like for teams this time of year? Just business as usual?
Yeah, it very much feels like
It's
business as usual. I think that it's, you have the Thanksgiving week. So, like, this is kind of it's similar in that regard. And I think for the Browns this year, they've got, they don't really have time to do much because we're going to get back from Houston, and then you play on Thursday. So
coaches will be in by noon, 1 o'clock on Monday, and players will follow a couple hours later. There will be a walkthrough on Monday, late day, I think.
It has to be.
Players will be in the building. I don't know maybe if it's a walkthrough or if it's just, getting into the playbook for Thursday night. But, I mean, the NFL did us no favors with a road game on Sunday night and then at least a home game on Thursday night because the turnaround is real quick, and with the holiday, it's pretty brutal.
What are the Jets doing? They are at home. So the Jets are at home, and then they come to us. They host Washington. Yep. So they're at home on Sunday, and then they'll play the game on Thursday. Gibby, I think it was you who said it earlier in the week, and that's when it kind of resonated with me, 3 games, 12 days in the NFL. That's just a hard thing to wrap your head around.
Well, and it's just, we think team, we think players and coaches and front office, and it's true, but our cafeteria is open on Monday now. Those people have to come in and work.
All those people have got to work.
Yeah, the video, the team video guys, not our content and production people, but, they've got to be here in case there is a walkthrough, and they've got to break down tape and cut it up and have it in everybody's iPad ready to go. It's there's a lot of people behind the scenes that will be here on Christmas Day.
Well, and as a wise man once said, this is the business we've chosen.
Correct.
So that's a little part of it as well.
Yeah.
Heading into this weekend. So, all right, we've got a lot to get to. We got the scores. Ben Bloom going to join Z in studio coming up at 1:30. As the protocols are just. I can't even look at the Navage. I can't look at it. I just am disgusted.
It might be the end of the road for it.
I don't know. I mean, in the words of Nana, it can't be doing me any harm. It's got to be it has to be helpful, but it didn't do enough. And Beamsy is progressing and he's in the right frame of mind, but he missed a basketball tournament today and was devastated by that. So it's just been a suck week here. So hopefully we get healthy going into it. But the protocols have failed and everything's under investigation now.
Yeah,
it's all under.
I feel like
all of it.
I feel like it's turned your world upside down.
It has. Yeah. Well, it's not what I mean, they've held up for a while, and now look, you got to improve. These strains become more and more comprehensive, and so with them, we have to grow as well with the protocols. So.
Yep.
We'll do what we can on that front. The General's going to join us at 2 o'clock, John McClain. We have all of the things you love on a Friday. We've got your over-unders. We've got your keys to victory, and, of course, your scores, which, as Z mentioned, got off to a glorious start yesterday with the Rams comfortably taking care of business in the game out west against the Saints. Coming up next, it's a little bit of fun with a radio legend, and as we mentioned, Ben Bloom going to join Z in studio in about 15 minutes. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Serious injuries, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We discussed this a little bit yesterday, like the NFL now being all in on the Christmas holiday, and it was something that none of us could remember happening when we were young, but also the days around it, the Saturday leading into it, the Monday coming out of it, this time Christmas actually on Monday. So you have a full slate, really, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You're right back on Thursday. Next week it'll be put to a test with a Wednesday. And so one thing this has done is it has changed the way you view the holiday. Christopher Mad Dog Russo had an incredible list of dislikes that of the way that he feels about Christmas and the holiday season. The one thing I will say before we play this is for a younger audience, there could be some sensitive stuff. So if you're driving around, kids with you, that type of thing, sensitive stuff perhaps could slip in a little bit.
No.
So
it was clean. It was all clean.
No. But there is one part, I've heard this. There's one part that's a little, I just want to give the heads up.
All right, sensitive Sally.
Very young, for the very young. That's all. So this was on ESPN this week. Here is Mad Dog's top 5 Christmas dislikes.
Now, remember, my 90-year-old mother, she gets trampled on Christmas Day. There's 9 million Lavelles. So she
make
a contribution. So on Christmas Eve, we always bring her over, and she wants to prepare dinner. Mom, I don't want the burnt veal parmesan anymore.
Wow.
Enough. She brings the veal parmesan, and she burns it. My kids don't want to eat it. Nobody wants to eat it now, Mom. You made it 40 years ago. You were in your top form. No more burnt veal parmesan on Christmas Eve. I'll go to Chef Louis. I'll go to Soleil. I'll get some dinner for us.
Did you just say that your mom did something right 40 years ago, but you're pointing out that she's not in her prime anymore? Is that what you just did on national television about your own
Cooking a huge veal
mother?
parmesan at dinner, and you burn the cheese, and I got to feed 6 people. It doesn't work. It's Christmas Eve.
Wow.
That's one.
That's what.
Number 4. Now, I can't stand this. Church is at 5 o'clock. It's Sunday. There's football.
Oh, wow.
I got 1 o'clock games. My lovely wife says we're leaving at 3:30. What? We're leaving. What?
That's early.
We're leaving
That
at
is early.
3:30. Why? We're
I
going to
know.
see. Leaving at 3:30. All dressed, raring to go. Honey, I got football. Not only that, I got to sit there at 6 o'clock, and it's Dallas, Miami, and Jacksonville, Tampa. So Fat Bob's got to make the plays for us, and I can't watch the game. The Christmas Eve service, when I get there at 3:30 and don't get out of there at 6:15, when it's on a football day, is an absolute no-no. So think about me on Sunday when the Cowboys are playing Miami.
Why don't you go to midnight
Fox.
mass?
I agree with you.
Go to midnight mass.
Because it's not family. You go with the family, and they want to go in the afternoon. You agree with me on that?
I agree with you on that.
All right,
I agree
number
with
3.
you.
All right. Punch it up for me, please. All right, here we go. My wife wants to hide the presents. All right? Jeannie, they're 30 years old. You don't have to hide the presents. No, I put them up there in a closet in the third. Jeannie, you don't have to hide the presents. I need you to go get them. It takes me 50 minutes to an hour like I run a marathon. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Place the presents in the right spot under the tree. Timmy's got 8. Kira's got 6. Colin's got 4. Patrick's in the mix. Then I got to figure out my wife's presents too. And she puts them all over the house. And I tell you, I got to stay up until 11:30 on Christmas Eve night until they go to bed to take the presents under the tree. I want to go to bed. I want to sit there and watch the freaking U-Log fire on MSG. That's what I want to do. I don't
You want to watch
sit there
the
and
U-Log
count
fire? You want to watch the U-Log fire? You're
on
lying.
MSG. The log. I love that. All right, number 2. Now, I am not good at putting these lights on these trees. So I went down South Avenue the other day, and there was a sign. If you want help with tree lights, call. And I did. I don't want anything to do with decorating the tree, putting a light up, putting a wreath up. I am not interested. Jeannie, you buy and I'll pay. I'll get somebody to put the lights up. It's such a pain in the neck. And I tell you, if you wanted an Oliver Laurel Hardy scenario, you should have seen me 30 years ago trying to put that tree in its stand. It fell on me. I walked out of there with all sorts of sap. So the heck is it? From now on, I'm hiring somebody to put the lights on my house so I don't got to deal with the nonsense. Number 2.
Totally right. I hired somebody to put up the lights, man. I ain't doing that. I ain't putting up the lights. I ain't
Number
doing
one,
that.
on Christmas night, I want to watch Ravens and 49ers. Like here on our friendly little network with Buck and Aikman. Instead, I got to put up with, for about the 9 millionth time, George Bailey. Who? What? George Bailey. Never George Bailey? That's Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed.
30.
And It's a Wonderful Life. I've seen the movie enough!
Okay.
And every Christmas night they ruin it by putting that stupid movie on, and I gotta see him with the angel to get himself together again. George Bailey. Remember George Bailey, Jimmy Stewart, 1946 in upstate New York? And I gotta watch that on Christmas night instead of Ravens and 49ers. That's another Christmas say it right. Christmas dislike.
The only one,
Yep.
the two I do not watch It's a Wonderful Life. Like I've not. That's never been my thing. Is that yours?
Same. No. We always run back Christmas Vacation on Christmas Day.
Yeah, or Christmas Eve even.
Christmas. I mean, we always have Christmas Vacation running on Christmas Day again, like the night of Christmas. Yeah, always.
Yeah, that's right. The only, and I don't do lights. I don't do like the lights on the house. That's out of my depth. I can't do that. I'll do the tree. We'll do that, but I can't do the lights outside.
We got some outside. We got a couple of trees that are lit up. We got a lit up frosty, and then the railing in the front of the house are lit up. I do a little bit, but I hope someday to be successful enough to be able to bring the pros in and have them like make those real sweet lights that go around the whole like frame of the roof. Like that's what I want. That's what I aspire to.
I got a quote because one of my neighbors did it, and
Yeah.
I was like, "That kind of looks nice. It's simple. It's effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get a phone number?" I reach out. I was like,
Minimum is
"Well, congratulations to the neighbor on all their successes."
minimum
'cause,
what,
that's not
750? Minimum.
Huh?
The minimum 750, right?
Oh, you should keep going.
Well, yeah, that's what they say the minimum
The,
is, but there is nothing that actually is only 750.
For the basic strand, I was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
I have lights outside, a great many. I just can't do them.
Yeah. Well, Bo's had success.
They're done.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bo has.
The
They're
compound.
done. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Man's got to know his limitations. The only other beef
I
I
did
have
mine,
is the
by the
Christmas
way.
Mass.
And I'm quite proud.
The
of
Christmas Mass. Well, you're far more capable at things than I am. I'm not capable.
it. No, I'm just not as well to do. I
That's
would be
nonsense.
more than happy to pay somebody to do it. I wouldn't think twice about it.
Not
Not a second. It's the second that I feel like
Whatever you
we've
need.
got enough disposable
Go
income.
ahead.
That's happening. Yeah.
ahead.
There's no
You're
pride
on
in
it.
what I'm doing. I'm not Clark Griswold.
Well, honestly, you could play him. You have that same joy that he has.
I could be. I feel like I could be.
You could do it.
I'm not. I'm
The Christmas Mass is always a
more
pain in
rugged.
the neck.
Yeah. Fortunately,
Yeah,
that's I don't. That's
we're in
not
Houston.
anything I have to do.
Oh my gosh, that's I mean what he just outlined is exactly what it's like. It's like what and why are we leaving 2 hours before service?
Yeah.
Well, because we have to get a seat. Well, why?
I'm happy
why is
to
there such
stand
a
in the
rush?
back.
Like that's what I always say. I'm fine standing. I'm auxiliary room. Fine. What difference does it make?
Yeah, I can walk
This
around a
isn't Cirque
little
du
bit.
Soleil.
Stretch
It's a
the
guy
legs.
talking.
Yeah, it's normally
Yeah.
super
I'll
hot
go
in
auxiliary
there.
room all day long.
Yeah.
I don't need to be in the main halls. Doesn't affect me one bit. Same experience.
Agreed.
All right. Any Christmas dislikes for you, Z?
I have done. I love Christmas. Just that I get so excited. Like this year, I feel like I was really dialed in. I make like a big spreadsheet for my gifts to everybody in the family, and I felt like this year I was really locked in. Like so, I'm just giddy to see them open the gifts. I get so much more joy out of giving gifts than receiving gifts. I don't really care what I get. I'm very into giving of gifts, so I'm pumped about that. I don't have any Christmases. I love Christmas. I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
It
For
just-
dad dogs
it just-
out there complain a lot of complaints.
The profession we have chosen puts a little damper on our
Well,
ability
it
to
has-
celebrate to the full length that I would like to go.
Well, we haven't had it. The last year that we had like a completely free or normal kind of Christmas period was 2019 because 2020 was COVID. 2021, I was in Green Bay on Christmas Day.
Yes, we were at the stadium.
Yeah, so like we had to do Christmas and Christmas Eve like on the 22nd and 23rd.
Yep.
Which is
That's
not
right,
the
yeah.
real. And then last year we had the freezing game. We were home, but at least you could kind of be around. But my kids, because the weather was so bad, got stuck in Florida. So they didn't
That's
get back
right.
until Christmas morning. And then this year I'll be no Christmas Eve because we'll be in Houston.
Yeah,
so,
and then you got a quick
I have not
turnaround.
had a
It's not like
normal.
it's not like you can sleep in on Tuesday.
No.
Tuesday's going to be a little bit of a day.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, right back into it. All right, is Ben Bloom en route?
I've been told yes, but I haven't seen him yet. I'll go out and look for him. He might not know where the door is to get in here.
But he would at least walk over here and give a little look-see.
Yeah, give you a wave.
Say
or
something.
At least
Yeah.
know that he's in the mix and en route. He is coming up next. We will hit your over-unders coming up after that. The General, John McClain, will join us in the 2 o'clock hour. Scores as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Valley Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Diamond Tour will be at Cleveland
Good job.
Stadium on Saturday, June 15th. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownstadium.com/Rolling Stones for more information on that. Time for a little over and under. Last week, the fellas, Z, 3-2. Now,
Yeah, baby.
25 overall. Gibbe, 2-3. Now 38-27 overall. So a 2-game lead for Z over Gibbe with 3 to play.
I know you can't see your phone. Coach is going to come in a few closer to 145. We got time.
Hey,
safe.
rolling, then. You're safe. All right, here we go.
Over, under.
Wait, so I went 2
Gibbe.
and 3?
Yeah, sorry.
went 2 and 3,
Yeah, sorry
Zero
about
went
it.
3
I
and
went
2.
3-2. You didn't believe in Joe Flacco. Justin Fields is going to run so much. Joe Flacco's going to throw for 300 and something yards,
70.
Gibbe. 370. I think 374, right?
No.
374.
I was closer than you.
Huh?
That's right.
You weren't even backing Joe Flacco. You were backing Justin Fields, bro.
I don't even know. All right, here we go. Gibbe, this one for you. We're going to start with Mr. Flacco, and we're looking for a passing yardage over or under. It's a biggie. 300.5.
Flacco
Flacco.
in a dome, which is good.
In a
'cause
dome.
The weather forecast outside in the metro Houston area, we might need a boat to get to the airport.
Oh, that's not
Don't
good.
say that. I don't want to hear any of that.
Well,
No delays.
go look at the
Can't have
forecast.
delays. Let's get in, let's get out.
300 is a big number.
It's a big number.
What did he throw 2 weeks earlier?
He's been over 300 back-to-back games, Gibbe.
That's what I thought.
It's 254.
I'm gonna go over.
Over.
That's all. Maybe I once in a while want to do a little research and not just guess off the whim.
I like it.
I don't know.
I like it.
Come at me like a spider
Z?
monkey.
Over. Easy. Listen, this is a very difficult football team to run against. You're going to have to throw the ball. They have given up 5 300-yard passers on the season, including just 2 weeks ago. Zach Wilson was the AFC Offensive Player of the Week against them. I think we're going to throw it a lot. I think we're going to throw it successfully. I'm wacko for Flacco. Over. He will join. When he does it, he will join Josh McCown as the only Cleveland Browns quarterbacks to ever throw for 300-plus yards in 3 straight games. McCown did it back in 2015.
Awesome. Fantastic. Next.
Over, under.
All right, Dr. Z, this one is for you. We are discussing the topic of Cleveland Browns pass catchers. So, Elijah Moore plus Amari Cooper, over or under Chief, Marquise Goodwin, and Tillman. So you're going to have Elijah and Amari,
I
or
like
Chief,
that.
Goodwin.
I
and
don't
Tillman.
like it. I'm going to have to take, in this one, I'm going to have to take Chief, Marquise Goodwin, and Cedric Tillman. The Texans give up the second most catches and third most yards to tight ends. So I think that when Chief, Plus, and Goodwin, if he hits one, it's going to be a big one. Chief, Goodwin, Tillman. By comparison, last week would have been Elijah Moore and Amari would have been 126. Chief, Tillman, and Goodwin would have been 109, 213. That's where
Much
I'm
bigger,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer. Chief and company.
Under.
Hey, either way, like if I'm wrong, we all win
is he.
still.
Well, or you all lose. All right, next.
Why does it go
Over, under.
Wait a minute.
It's
All
not.
right.
It's
You're versing.
it's Browns against Browns, and you're against me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just so
that's
we
why
all
I
know.
said if I'm wrong, we all win still. If you're wrong, we still win.
Oh, in terms of the Browns win.
Yes.
Correct.
That means
Either
we're getting
way, Browns are gonna
productivity.
win. Yeah, you're getting productivity. That's
Well,
all.
it could sadly
Or it could be you all lose.
7-4
Because they all suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be that too.
Yeah.
Oh, Merry
Jerome Ford
Christmas
has been
to
a
you
tough
all.
one.
No, I'm
figure out.
positivity.
I've been. I've looked back, and you guys have struggled with the Jerome Ford total yardage throughout the year. So we're looking for a total yardage out of Jerome Ford in the game on Sunday, and that number we're looking for is 80.5.
Under.
Give it.
Over. Let's go,
There you
Ford.
go. We got a difference.
Let's go.
Under.
I will say that that you've gone under on him on that like the last 4 times, and every time he's gone over.
That's what I'm doing. It. This is
odd.
called a self-sacrifice for the betterment of the Browns. You're welcome.
All right, very good. Next.
Over, under.
Zagura, this one is for you. We are looking for the sacks, interceptions, fumbles number. Last week we were at 5.5. You both went under, and it was over. This week our number is slightly more.
Over because of 2 Hail Mary interceptions.
Listen, it is what it is. I can't help you.
Yeah.
The number this week is slightly lower, 4.5. Segura, 4.5.
Over.
Yes.
Over.
Thank you.
Let's
I don't
go.
have to look at anything.
Yeah, over.
Feast.
Feast.
It's a Christmas feast on Sunday.
Zadarius is going to have 2 sacks. That's my call.
We got to get Miles one, man.
We got to get Miles 3. We need to get Miles 3 in 3 games so he can do.
Yeah, he's got to get one.
Join
a game.
Reggie White. Has Coach Bloom walked in here?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
hanging.
Okay,
He's
all right,
gonna,
good.
he's,
All right.
he's
So
gonna
he's-
Well,
join us
I
after the
was
break.
giving him the directions. I just want
Yep.
to make sure I communicated effectively.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Finally, next.
Over, under.
All right, this is the last one. It is the actual, and it is 40.5. 40.5. Zagura.
Over.
Over. Same.
Or given. Over.
Same. Good news, folks. Guaranteed to still be in the lead after this week.
And also could basically clinch. I mean, if you're 3 up,
3 up's
the
going to
way
be
that
tough.
this works, you could kind of just mirror him on everything is the way you could do it. All right, Ben Bloom going to join the program. Coming up next, you're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Hey guys, it's Betsy P.
All right, welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. Pet Supplies Plus has given you the chance to win tickets to home games all season long while providing the best deals for your pet at over 75 stores throughout Ohio. Enter to win at clevelandbrowns.com/Pet Supplies Plus and receive a coupon. Gibbe, this is a Ron Burgundy moment. Uno, get him in here. Get him on the camera. I'm going to ask Ben Bloom to read the last sentence for us. Enter to win. It was right there.
Which sentence?
Right here, starting here. Enter to win. Right here. Enter to win. Start.
Oh, yeah. Enter to win at clevelandbrowns.com/Pet Supplies Plus and receive a coupon to.
A coupon to what? A coupon to what, Gibby?
We'll figure it out. We'll get that read corrected by the end of the
You get a coupon. Not sure what it's for.
Today, kids.
Hopefully it's enjoyable. I'm sure it's a great coupon, though. I think we can just assume it's an elite coupon. We'll find out what that coupon's to, though, at some point. But right now, we're very happy to be joined in studio by the great Ben Bloom, Browns defensive line coach. And, Coach, before we get into some specifics, and we're going to talk some Myles Garrett, and I know you had an impassioned speech about him earlier today in your media availability. Can you just tell me, for you, first year coaching the D-line with the Cleveland Browns, what this whole experience has been like? Because this team has gone through so much, so many new faces in and out every week, and I've given a lot of credit to, obviously, the players for their buy-in and their preparation, but to you, the position coaches, and obviously it starts at the top with Stefanski and then Jim Schwartz, but the position coaches who have gotten young guys ready to play week in and week out. So what's this been like for you, and how gratifying has it been to see, no matter what obstacles are thrown in the face of this Cleveland Browns team, you guys are finding ways to win?
Well, I appreciate the kind words. No, it's been a terrific experience. It's been so far, a lot of positive things have happened this season. Again, it's a fortunate situation for me. It's the ideal position to coach D-line in and play D-line in. Coach Schwartz's attack-style defensive line play is ideal. It's easy to say, hey, we're going to get off the ball. We're going to penetrate, we're going to disrupt, we're going to mess things up. But it's hard to do it every day, day in, day out. You got to bring a lot of energy as a player and a coach to execute the techniques at a high level. And again, I've been fortunate to have some veteran players in the room, some guys that are familiar with the system.
Guys, yeah,
I mean, it makes you're a much better coach when you have good players. Everyone knows that. But have had guys that have played in the system before, guys that the system was a little foreign to at the beginning, but everyone's embraced it, working hard together, and it's a good group. And our goal every week is to contribute in a way that helps the team win the game, and that's what we've done some weeks. So
most, if not all weeks, you certainly have done that. So I was kind of open talking about the young players. Alex Wright, obviously, with Obo goes down, Alex Wright's going to play more. And you mentioned it is this attack style, but you have to also maintain your eye discipline, and teams are trying to use some of that attack against us, right, to go misdirection, the jet sweeps. That 3rd-and-1 play was such a great play by a young player. What did you kind of see on that one? What did you say to him afterwards, and what did that tell you about Alex Wright, too? Because if he gets sucked in there, and that guy might still be running.
Yeah, we got a couple jet sweeps in the Rams game.
We did.
You guys remember. And Alex, at least one of them, was in a very similar situation coming off the ball. And, you got to make a really fast decision as the end in that situation, because if they hand it off to the running back, you got to close and go make the tackle on the running back. But, the guys on our team, and they got instincts, they have feel. Like, hey, if you feel that the ball's going to the jet sweep instead, put your foot in the ground, go make the play. So we were on the sideline in the Rams game. I said, did you see that they handed off the jet sweep? He goes, yeah, Coach, I saw it. I just, I missed it. Like, I couldn't make it. It was there, but I missed it. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll get it next time. Like, it's good that you saw it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got to see it live once. And then, lo and behold, very similar type of play comes up in the Chicago game last week, and same exact play. He saw it. He triggered. He made the play. It was a huge play in the game.
Huge.
And what it says about Alex, I guess, is that when you're a younger player with less experience, the more you play, the more experience you get, and the more you learn, and you hope that translates into making more plays. And I think this is an example of that alone. That just Alex is a really hardworking dude. He's getting better every day.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can learn from a play a couple weeks ago, and then when he sees it again to make the play, that's a testament to him.
Yeah, and make the play at an absolutely huge moment in the game. I mean, that was a massive, massive play that he was able to make there. All right, let's talk about Miles because, we've heard, Brian Baldinger, Bill Cowher, former Steelers coach. We've heard Kevin Stefanski say, I'm not going to get on my soapbox often, but I will for Myles Garrett. And I know you talked about him earlier today to reference in, Mariano Rivera and the great Dennis Eckersley as the closer for this football team. What's it like coaching him? Obviously, people are so fixated he hasn't had a sack 4 games, but anybody who's watched the games knows that he has been dominant over these last few weeks.
Yeah, what's it like coaching him? Well, I mean, it's a joy because he's a hardworking guy that cares about his craft. Who
and he's quite talented.
He's really talented physically, but also I would say he's talented mentally from a attention to detail and a focus standpoint. Right, he
takes great notes. Right, he has a great notebook.
Takes great notes.
Very thorough.
Yeah, thorough. He's got a really good memory. You can just kind of say, "Hey, remember we did this that one time a couple weeks ago? Yep, got it. Let's do it." And then we know what it looks like live after that. So, it's fun to be around him in that regard. I've just been impressed with how he's handled the whole season. He just comes to work every day and, keeps putting himself in position to have great games. And that's what he's done.
In getting ready for games, you're watching, obviously, tape of your opponents.
Yeah.
I would have to imagine that you don't see on their tape against anybody else the things that they will do to us because of Myles Garrett. So has that been an interesting part of the preparation? Because a lot of teams don't roll triple teams out. Now maybe against a TJ Watt or a Nick Bosa, they may do some of the things, but it feels like he is protected against, whether it's within or without of the rules of the game, differently than anybody else in the league.
Yeah, I mean, the first part is how our offense is going to allocate their blockers to try to block him in pass rushing situations, right? So some teams chip with the running back from the backfield. Some people chip with the tight end. Both. Bring the center toward him. All of the above. We saw elements of it as the season has gone on. I remember in the Indy game, toward the end of the game, when Z finished the game with the sack, that last drive, they were putting the back over there, putting the center over there. Obviously, the chips haven't gone away. They keep coming back from the tight ends and the back. So, there's only so many ways the offense can try to do it. We've seen, I think, most of the potential combinations. Sure. So, you prepare by knowing what you could get, and then when the game starts and you see, okay, this is how they're going to attempt to block him, then we can adjust from there. But
you almost have to prepare by watching our own games and knowing that they're going to steal this because it's not something they typically do.
Yeah, like categorize in my head. I know, okay, this is how this team's done it. This is how that team's done it. So how are we going to respond? If they're bringing the center and the tight end, all right, on the other side, we have to do this with Z and Obo or Alex or Dalvin or Shelby, whoever's over there. If they're not bringing the center but they're bringing the halfback and only the halfback, we can respond this way. So there's – it's a little bit of a wait and see because you can't guess.
Yeah.
And there's, like you said, it's not like they're doing this to other players out there.
Right.
It's not like I can say, oh, how did they protect this? No, because no one's like Myles. So we get a unique protection scheme weekly, and we'll be ready to adjust as the game goes.
Of course you guys will be. Wanted to ask you real quick about Dalvin. I thought last week a sensational game, maybe his best with the Browns, and I asked him if he thought it was, and he said yes. What's making him so good? Because, you didn't necessarily think of him as a big pass rusher coming into the Browns. And while I think he kind of should have gotten that sack, but Alex got the ball out, so he got credit for that sack in this one. Looking like a career year rushing the passer, quarterback hits, sacks, all of it. What's made him so effective?
It's tough with the sack numbers because, that one could have been his, but at least Alex got it.
Yeah.
He had, in our last Baltimore game, Dalvin had one, but then there was a coverage penalty, defensive holding or pass interference.
Yeah.
So
I thought he should be like 6.
He's right. So, and by the way, while we're on sacks, the last play on defense we had versus Jacksonville was a 2-point play in which the quarterback dropped back. And
why does that not count?
Because it's an untimed down.
He still sacked him. It's a sack.
Right. So, I guess it's not statistically, but to say that.
I'm counting.
So let's call it what it is.
Yeah. He sacked Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. That's right. And that was a big play because we won by 4. They're going onside kick with on a
Massive.
4-point differential, right? A 2-point differential's way
then
different.
All of a sudden, squeaky bum time. Yeah, this is very different.
Long field goal wins the game for us. So
yes.
We get it. Back to Dalvin. I remember Dalvin coming out of college. Yeah. And he kind of had this label as like a 2-gap in Alabama D tackle, which a lot of the Alabama guys are.
Yeah.
But when you saw him really play and how explosive he was and how vertical he can get up the field, I didn't feel like he was a cookie cutter 3-4 type of D tackle then. Okay, and some of the stuff you saw him do with the Giants in his career, he was vertical penetrating.
Oh yeah,
doing that. So I just think schematically, what he was asked to do in recent seasons doesn't look schematically like what we do from an attack standpoint. So once he got in here and got used to our techniques and got into a different type of shape to play in this defense, I just think you see him take off in the run game and the pass game. So Dalvin's a great football player. He's going to have a ton of success in whatever scheme or system he's playing in. It's awesome that he's having such success in our system because a guy that big, that strong, that instinctive, that explosive can be devastating in an attack style defense. That's what he's doing right now.
It collapses that pocket.
I thought he's had a lot of really good games this year, like the San Francisco game, even the second Baltimore game. So I didn't know that this one stood out to everybody as his best game, but it was one of his best games. So I'm happy you recognized it too.
Absolutely. Coach, appreciate the time as always. We're going to get you out of here on this one.
Cool.
Have we done many 3 counts lately? I've sometimes when I'm up there, I'm trying to look for you after a big D-line play.
I owe you on that.
Okay, I'll be looking for it this week.
You got it.
All right, the great Ben Bloom, defensive line coach of your Cleveland Browns. When we come back, you got it. When we come back, the General John McClain will join us from Houston to preview the Browns and the Texans. You're listening to Cleveland Brown Daily on ESPN 850 WKNR.
Owned and operated Rumpke Waste Recycling, grown to become one of the largest recycling and waste companies in the United States. Proud to be the recycler of choice of the city of Cleveland. Visit Rumpke.com to learn more. And now we go behind enemy lines on the Twisted Tea Hotline. Great friend of the program, the General, John McClain, joining us, senior columnist, Sports Radio 610, down in Houston, the Texans' flagship, a website with no paywall, so that's a win for everybody. Always a pleasure getting to talk to you, sir. I guess before we get into this game, you've been around this game a long time. C.J. Stroud's rookie season with a Texan compares to what you've seen previously?
Well, probably Andrew Luck in 2012, but Andrew was supposed to be a generational quarterback, the first one since John Elway in 1983, and there were questions about CJ. And it's interesting that the Texans finished the season at Indianapolis for the second year in a row, and the game this year could be for the division title or the playoffs. And the game last year, the Texans won, completed a 2-point conversion, both to Jordan Akins, and fans went crazy because it cost them the first pick in Bryce Young. So they got stuck with C.J. Stroud. And he's been tremendous. It's too bad he's going to miss the second game in a row with a concussion because he's been durable, and he's nobody could have predicted what he did. Nobody could have predicted what the Texans have done. They were supposed to be the second worst team in the league to Arizona. I still kind of have to shake my head to sober up a little bit thinking about them in a playoff race.
Yeah, he has been so good, and they've been such an explosive pass game with him. And obviously, no C.J. Stroud. And then the other rookie, Tank Dell, who leads the team with 7 touchdowns, he is out as well. What can you tell us about Nico Collins? Should he be back the leading receiver over 1,000 yards this year?
Yeah, Nico Collins, their leading receiver, will be back. Tank Dell went down for the season. Great third-round pick.
Yeah.
He was their second leading receiver. But Collins is back. They've got some other receivers. This game's almost kind of a survival of the fittest. I mean, I think the Texans have used 3 left tackles, 4 left guards, 4 centers, 1 right guard, 3 right tackles, but they still don't have problems at tackle like the Browns do, pleasing their top 3 guys. And so it's amazing, really across the league, not just with backup quarterbacks, but so many players get injured. And I've been covering this league for 48 years now. And I talked to a lot of former players here, including a lot of Oilers. They said there were no more injuries then when they did double days and full contact and hit during the week all the time than there are today, and nobody can come up with a reason for it. But this one's going to be a battle of the graybeard quarterbacks, and you guys know Case Keenum well. Mm-hmm. Texans know Flacco well because they went against him, but nobody is around except their deep snapper, John Weeks, in his 14th season, who's ever played against Flacco.
So before we get in, we'll talk about Case in a second, but you mentioned the Oilers. I felt like what happened last week, that game should have been for the rights for the uniforms, and they should be able to come back to Houston after that win. In fact, I think karmically, that's why they were able to make that comeback, and you got the Fairbairn field goal in overtime for the win. But is there a more absurd thing in football right now than the Tennessee Titans wearing Houston Oilers uniforms against the Houston Texans when they should just get to be the Oilers?
Obviously, they did that to stick it to them. They did it twice
ridiculous.
this year. They did it with the Falcons, and they won, and then they lost to the Texans. So we say that the Titans are not 5-9. The Titans are 4-8, and the Oilers are 1-1. And people here are infuriated that they wore the colors.
Same.
They've known since the offseason it was coming because everything Oilers belongs to the Titans. None of it belongs to the Texans. And the Texans didn't want anything to do with the Oilers. Bob McNair founded the team, wanted his own identity. Fans in the media said good riddance. And when they played as the Tennessee Oilers, wore Columbia blue the first 2 seasons up there, nobody here protested.
Wow.
It's only recently that players are like, oh, we got to get – fans, not players. Players don't give a rat's what about it. But they said, oh, we got to get those colors back in Houston. Well, it ain't happening.
No, it's not. I had no idea there was vitriol on both sides of it that way. I knew there obviously was from the Adams family in terms of their vitriol towards Houston. I didn't realize it went both ways in terms of not wanting any part of that brand going forward. They're gorgeous uniforms. Either way, any way you slice it, they look great. And unfortunately, they are being worn by the Titans this year. John, in terms of D'Amico Ryans, I remember talking to you in the offseason about that hire. And, we think Kevin Stefanski's got a pretty good chance to be Coach of the Year, winning games with 4 different quarterbacks. But D'Amico's got to be right there. You liked the hire. I remember it. You liked it in the moment. What has he done, and why did you think he would be the success that he's been?
Nobody could have envisioned it in the first year. I picked him to win six games, double last year's win total, which I thought would be pretty damn good considering how bad they've been the last 3 years. And it doesn't matter how many offensive linemen they've had to use, how many players are out. We're not going to have Will Anderson for the second game in a row. Blake Cashman, their best linebacker, he's not going to play. Doesn't matter. Whoever plays has gotten with the program. And I wrote a column about this week. What they've done to their run defense over the last 4 years worse than the NFL. Last year they gave up 170 yards a game. This year they're giving up 93, and in the last 10 games they're giving up 85. And in the team that played Sunday in Tennessee and just totally manhandled Derrick Henry, who had averaged 203 yards against them in the last 5 games and got 9. It was only 4 new players were on this defense compared to last year. So D'Amico it's great coaching. Him, the defense coordinator, Matt Berg, he's responsible, oversees the defensive line. And then it helps when you got a talented young quarterback who's being coached very well by Bobby Slowick, who came with D'Amico from San Francisco. He's a Kyle Shanahan protege. So they've done a really good job of coaching the team, and everybody is shocked that they're in a playoff race and have a chance to win the division.
Talking with the General John McClain, and when you mentioned, Bobby Slowick coming from the Kyle Shanahan tree, they're one of the top under center teams in the NFL. But my question for you is we've seen Devin Singletary really get it going on the ground, career high 170 total yards last week. How is this offense different? And it's only been one game, I know, but what's different about it with Case Keenum versus when C.J. Stroud's in there?
When Stroud was in, and he had Tank Dell, and they threw the ball down the field, they were second in the league when Stroud got hurt to explosive plays or 25 or more yards to the 49ers. And the 49ers get a lot of yak out of that. Every time you look up, you see Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel taking short passes and going a long way. With the Texans, they had some yak mainly from Nico Collins, but most of it was Stroud's passing. He was pinpoint. And his accuracy to us is amazing. And his decision-making was way beyond his years. And everybody loves the guy down here. So having Slowick come in here and install the zone scheme, last year's league rusher, Damian Pierce has struggled to pick it up. Singletary has been in the system before. Pierce only got 1 carry for 3 yards in the last game. So the Browns will see Singletary most of the time. And it's just – Noah Brown came from the Cowboys. Dalton Schultz came from the Cowboys. Both of them have been really good, and they all have some kind of special connection with Stroud. He knows how to throw them open, and a lot of that has to do, of course, with Stroud, but a lot of it has to do with coaching. And I know at Ohio State, everybody said, well, he had great receivers. They helped make him. And as I've watched him work with all these receivers here, I'm thinking he had a lot to do with that with the Buckeyes.
I think that Ohio State learned that lesson this year, sir, in terms of the quarterback play that they saw versus what they were spoiled with C.J. Stroud for a couple of games. Talking to the General, John McClain, this defensive front, we understand Will Anderson probably is not going to play in this game. At least that's what I'm seeing today, that he will not play in this game. He's been great. But beyond that, they've been great as well. Did you think that they had this type of talent up front the way that they're playing?
No. Jonathan Grenard, who has 12.5 sacks, has been just disruptive. He and Will Anderson play great on the edges, great against the run. And they like to play with a 4-man front. They don't like to blitz. And Grenard is in the last year of his contract. He's going to make a lot of money, whether it's here or somewhere else. The fact he's not just a pass rusher. And it was interesting because Derek Barnett, who was dumped by the Eagles, former number 1 pick, had to start against the Titans, and he had more snaps than any time he'd had with the Eagles this season. It was his third game here. He had his sack. He had 3 tackles for loss. He knocked down Will Levis 2 more times. He played great against the run. He'll start against the Browns. And there are 2 tackles. Malik Collins is been so consistent here for 3 years. Everybody takes him for granted. But they signed Sheldon Rankins because he's been in the system. And both those tackles have been great at stopping the run and getting some pressure up the middle. And I'm sure Anderson, it's got to be killing him that he can't play because it's the first time since October 15th when they played against the Saints and Derek Carr that they're playing against a pure pocket passer.
Yeah, they're a team. You got 4 guys, you mentioned them, Anderson, Collins, Rankins, and Grenard, who all have, 5 sacks, and there are only 3 teams in the league that can say they've got 4 guys with 5 or more sacks. What's made the breakout happen for Grenard to 12.5 sacks? In his first 3 years, he had 10.5 combined. What's caused this kind of explosion to being one of the dominant pass rushers in the league?
Coaching and good health. It's amazing when guys are healthy for the first time in the last year of their contract, isn't it? And he's been hurt. He had 8 sacks 2 years ago and missed 5 games. Last year he was overcome with injuries, and he had looked pretty good as a rookie. But right now it's a breakout season, and he's going to cash in financially. And the fact that he is good against the run besides the pass will make him even more valuable. And if they let him get away here, they're going to have a big hole to fill because D'Amico Ryans are like the 49ers. They want to rely on their 4 guys up front. He'll blitz every once in a while, but they don't like to do it.
Yep.
They like to get it, and they like to play man and zone. And a guy that's going to be fun to watch is Derek Stingley Jr. has been outstanding since he came back from a hamstring injury. And he missed 9 games last year with a hamstring injury. Everybody called him a bust. Then he starts a couple of games this year. Then he misses games with a hamstring. Everybody rips him again, and then he's been tremendous. Watching him cover Amari Cooper is going to be worth the price of admission.
Yeah, Stingley, a good player. So is Jalen Petrie. You got the Browns in interception last time the Browns were in Houston. My question for you, just kind of final one, wrapping it up here, and we appreciate the time, is you talked earlier about what they did to Derrick Henry. They've not allowed a 100-yard rusher. They've been really the best run defense against traditional running back runs in the National Football League this season, but they have struggled a little bit with quarterbacks. Zach Wilson had the best game maybe of his career against them just a couple of weeks ago. Desmond Ridder had a 300-yard game against this defense. What's kind of been the issue that's allowed, because they can get to the quarterback and you've got Nelson playing well, Stingley playing well. What's been the reason that they've been able to be victimized a little bit through the air, especially by tight ends?
Well, Russell Wilson ran for like 40 yards, and he ran 10 times. And Kyler Murray had like 35 or 40.
Yep.
And no running back has been able to hurt him. Not only have nobody's had 100, they haven't had 90.
Yep.
And for some reason, even though they attack, as D'Amico said this week, the system that they play was Matt Burke learned it in his 5 years with the Titans as an assistant with Jim Schwartz, and Jim Washburn, the great defensive line coach.
Yep.
They coached under Jeff Fisher. And so that's the same system that Schwartz plays, aggressive, get up the field. And I thought they'd be susceptible to screens or draw plays, but so far they haven't been. And the tight end problem, and this is why they're going to throw to Njoku early, and they're going to throw to him often, because tight ends have burned them, because their only good linebacker who's great in coverage is Blake Cashman, and he's out.
Yep.
And Christian Harris had a good game last week, but I would throw at him. Jalen Petrie a lot of times covers tight ends. He struggled in coverage in his second season, but between Njoku and Amari Cooper, I look for those guys, Flacco to target, go after them early, and it'll be great to see. I look for Njoku to have another big game like he's had the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
John, can't thank you enough, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. Happy holiday season to you and yours.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, that's the great John McClain, the general senior columnist, sportsradio610.com, the Texans flagship. There's no paywall on that, so if you want to get smarter, you certainly can. We'll get your keys to victory and keys to your prime rib coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Valley Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Preferred provider of copiers
Guys are up.
services of the Cleveland Browns. Tackle any size office. That number is 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Time for your keys to beating the Houston Texans on the road this weekend. For that, we go to Dr. Z.
All right. Like we say every week, play a clean game. That'll be key number one. We don't do it. We haven't done it since the Arizona Cardinals game, and we didn't do it before that game either. But the Browns 14-2 under Kevin Stefanski when they play a clean game on offense, no giveaways. And listen, against the Texans, it's very important because on the season, they have 20 takeaways, only 12 giveaways. They're +8. That is the fourth best in the league, second best in the AFC. That's why they've been able to win 5 of their last 7 games. They do a very good job in that regard. Number 2 for the Browns, it's going to have to be protect Joe Flacco. It looks like good news with Joel Bitonio back, good news Ethan Posick back. You're going to have to protect Jonathan Grenard. He's got 5.5 sacks in his last 3 games alone. That is going to be an interesting matchup against James Hudson and Jaron Christian. That's one that the Browns are going to have to really be cognizant of, maybe get creative with their protections as we saw kind of at the end of the game last week so that you can keep Joe Flacco upright, give him opportunities to make plays down the field against what you heard John McClain say is some of the struggles in coverage at the linebacker and safety position for the Houston Texans. And then third, limit the big plays. Force Case Keenum to really work the ball down the field. I think the more dropbacks you get, the better chance you have to make a play against him. Limit Devin Singletary on early downs. Singletary's got 3 100-yard games this season for the Texans. And then obviously you got to be cognizant of Nico Collins and Noah Brown. 2 big receivers, Collins 6'4", Brown 6'2", both from the Big Ten. Both have made big plays this year. Collins averaging 16.7 yards a catch. Noah Brown averaging 18 yards per catch. So I think you do that, the Browns are going to come out of here, I think, with a nice win over the Houston Texans.
And your Friday forecast is presented by Carrier. Carrier turned to the experts. Highs in the low 70s and rainy, but guess what? You play indoors in Houston. So nothing to worry about there other than your commute to and fro.
Nope.
All right, kids, you got your pen and paper ready? Let's do it. Let's do the prime rib.
All right. So 24 to 48 hours before the cook, you are going to dry brine the prime rib. So what does that mean? You are going to rub Penzeys English prime rib rub or any prime rib rub that you like all over your meat. And you want your bones when you get your prime rib.
Copious amounts?
Yeah, copious amounts. Good, like a nice coating of it.
Yep.
When you get your prime rib, ask your butcher to trim it and then cut and tie the bones. So there's going to be little areas to get in between the bones and the meat on the back because it's now been kind of cut apart. So that's good stuff. You got to make sure you get some of the rub in there. So you do that. Keep it in the fridge uncovered for 24 to 48 hours. That will get a nice help of the crust. It helps the flavor get in there, and it just kind of makes sure the outside of it is really good. So now we're on to game day here when we're going to make this prime rib. And this is for a sous vide. So this is a very specific way to do this. We've got the sous vides. That's how we roll, and it's pretty much foolproof.
Very good.
All right, so game day, you get it out. You're going to get a bowl. In that bowl, you're going to put some olive oil. You're going to put some salt and some fresh cracked black pepper in there. You are then going to get rosemary and fresh thyme, chop those up. They go into this bowl of olive oil that's your now rosemary, thyme, salt, pepper. You're going to press about 10 cloves of garlic through a garlic press into this olive oil, and then you're going to whip it up with a silicone brush if you'd like, and you're going to make kind of almost like a paste out of it. And what you're going to do with that now is you are going to, I put on those gloves that you had me get, those black nitrile gloves. I put those on. I just start scooping, and I'm rubbing this all over the outside. This olive oil,
nice rub down,
garlic, rosemary, thyme, salt, pepper mix all over everywhere. And remember, get inside that area there between the bones and the bottom of the meat. So do that. And then I make 2 prime ribs because my father-in-law does not like rosemary, so he does one. There's one that's no rosemary. I don't understand it.
What a son
but I try to be very nice, try to be kind.
My God.
So we do that. Plus, people like end pieces, and it turns out if you have like 12, 13, 14 pounds, doing 2 7-pounders is easier because then you get 4 end pieces. People are very happy, and in the sous vide, it's perfect the whole way through, so you know you're good. All right, so now I've rubbed it with all that stuff. The last step before you're ready to get really rolling here is I take like a long knife and cut various little holes all over the meat and in through the sides and in through the front and whatever, and I stick slivers of garlic in there. So I'll take a clove and I'll cut it into a couple slivers, stick those in there. So now there's garlic friends all throughout the meat.
Garlic friends and meat.
Yep.
All
right, so now you're going to take this beautiful rubbed beautiful piece of prime rib. You're going to go into the oven at 475 degrees for 15 minutes.
Okay. That's going to have a hell of a sear.
So that's going to be your initial sear. You're then going to take it out. Let it sit for a few minutes because you need some time for it to cool down a little bit before you put it in the bag. Then it goes into the bag. Bag into the water bath, sous vide. I like to do it at like 131.5 or 129 is medium rare, but like for 131.5 comes out, it comes out really, really nicely. So, but anywhere from 129 to 133, I think is probably the sweet spot for you there. So into the bath, 6 hours, can go 7 hours, in that range. When you take it out now, so now you are fast forwarding right ahead 6-7 hours. You are going to, when everything else is ready, because it's very easy to do this because you only need really 10 more minutes. So the time you take it out, it's 10 minutes till everything. So you can time it so that you're good with your mashed potatoes or whatever, the peas and pearls, whatever sides you do with your prime rib. So out of the bag now, take it out, keep the bag, keep the juices. That's very important. You're going to put it on, whatever your cutting board, pat it down with a bunch of paper towels, dry it out. Now, right before you took it out of the bag, you're going to take a nice microwave-safe bowl and microwave down and melt some ghee. Now that you've patted your prime rib dry, you are then going to take this melted ghee, and with your silicone brush, you are going to brush the entire surface area of this prime rib with ghee. And oh boy, that's going to be a real treat for you. Back into the oven at 450 for like 10 minutes, and keep an eye on it. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes. It could be 8, just until you see the nice crust really start to form.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's what you're looking for, around 10 minutes. In the meantime, that's when you make your au jus. So you're going to take some of the bag juices. You're going to take some beef broth if you need it. You're going to take some wine, some Worcestershire sauce, fresh sprigs of rosemary, salt, pepper, garlic, again, and you're going to boil that all together and whisk it around, stir that down, and then you're going to have a very flavorful au jus to dunk your prime rib. And I give myself my own gravy boat of au jus. I'm a big au jus guy, and I love it, and I'll be a plunk and an eat. So that's really it. Once it comes out of the oven again, you don't have to really let it sit. You can if you want to for a few minutes, but you really don't have to let it sit.
Don't have to.
And then you're good. Right. Then you're good, and you slice, and away you go.
Only question I have is out of the oven at 475 for 15 minutes.
Yep.
Am I taking any of those juices into the bag of sous vide or no juices in the
if there's stuff that you can scoop off and toss in there, you can, but there won't be a ton.
But I don't need to add anything to the sous vide bag, though. I don't need
just the meat
or anything.
No.
Just the meat.
Just the meat. Yep.
All right. All right, I got it.
Yep.
I got it. And so, too, does everyone else. So there's one gift to you. Here's another gift coming your way. The scores are coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN
What a big
Cleveland.
T-transit.
You guys are up.
Laundry and dry cleaning needs this holiday season. Enjoy $10 off of 40 or more all month long with the code Browns10. Exclusions do apply. Visit locally owned and operated Tide Cleaners in the greater Cleveland area and make the most of your holidays. Time for a little segment we like to say, pay attention to the scores.
Our Christmas gift to you.
That's right. That's right.
Zagura, how'd we do last week?
Oh, baby, another
Please.
10-6 for both of us. Bo now 62 games over 500. I'm at 58. It's craziness. And by the way, shout out River had the best week. She went 11-5.
How about that?
How about it? Oh, the one other thing I needed to add, Nana was right, is you have on hand when you make the au jus, you can have on hand a packet of like the dry au jus kind of mix. And if you're not getting enough flavor, you can throw that in there, and then you'll be.
By the way, please thank her for the Christmas gift.
Oh yeah,
Nana.
You. Yeah.
I was very excited. A nice little spicy jam.
It's really good.
Is it
made by the great Aunt Rita? It is.
Wait, so it's homemade?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's
now,
good.
To be fair,
It's good.
It could be poison for Gibbe because we know how Nana feels about the crud that is Gibbe.
It just shows that Nana when they go low, she goes high. What?
Nana sided with me last week.
Yeah.
When they go low, she goes high.
Yeah, that's how Nana. That's how she operates.
All right, time for the scores and a lot to get to.
Bills, and so I'd like to keep them ahead of the Bills.
Yep, same.
Bengals, Slumptown. The Steelers, Mason Rudolph. We've seen that script.
We've seen this.
It's not good. By the way, what's with all the ex-Steelers? Or maybe not all. Ryan Clark.
A big chunk hopping on that bandwagon.
Tomlin needs to be gone. Like, the guy's never had a losing season. What's going on?
If they move off of him, they will trade him, and there will be a long list of suitors.
Are they saying it from the perspective that they think Tomlin needs out because Pittsburgh's a stinking ship? Or are they saying that they think Pittsburgh, he's bad for Pittsburgh? Which I would have a hard time understanding.
Hard time. I think they just, I'm not going to give him any advice. I'm with you, though. Same. Cincinnati big.
To Saturday night we go, and the Los Angeles Chargers, and they have a new coach. What's that guy's name again?
I don't know.
What was it? Giff Smith.
Giff.
That's right.
Our boy
I thought
Griff.
it was a misprint. The Chargers,
Griff
SoFi, 2 games in 3 days. Chargers hosting the red-hot Buffalo Bills, winners of 2 in a row. This one only on Peacock Saturday night.
Yeah, pay attention to that. Yeah, I don't care. Bills by $1 billion. I think it's Slumptown City. They're on a focus. It's a very navigable path for them. I don't see any scenario where you got knocking at the back door. So I like Buffalo winning big in this one, 31-7.
My question with this one, because they just gave up like 100 points to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And the Bills, they're slumping everybody, and it feels kind of like who wouldn't take the Bills?
It does. I'll give you that. I'll grant you.
It's weird because this one opened at 14, and it's moved in favor of the Chargers, which I don't get in any way, shape, or form. But you know what? This one's easy to see. Bills 100, Chargers 88.
Oh, mama.
God. Oh, baby.
Ooh.
Oh, baby. Pay attention,
kids.
Pay attention.
Pay attention, kids. Boy, I could only imagine what that was walking by. Onward we go to Sunday football. The gutless Falcons, fresh off of a beating at the hands of the Carolina Panthers.
Unbelievable.
Welcome in the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are 8-6, tied for first in the AFC South, Nathan Zagura.
I like this Colts team. I like Gardner Minshew. Minshew Mania. It's fun. They get Michael Pittman's back after the hit, which got DeMonte Kazee suspended for the year, which I thought was outrageous. I think the Colts, this line makes no sense to me, and normally that would make me say guarantee that the gutless Falcons are going to win, but in this case, maybe it is just that easy. Colts 17, Falcons 14.
Yeah, this one is actually went 1.5 in the other way because actually Atlanta was 1 yesterday, and now they're 2.5 favorite in this game. Jonathan Taylor back as well. Yeah, I'm with you. Atlanta outright. I'm sorry, Indy outright.
Yep.
Good correction. Good job. Up next, by the way, there is some just these are trash games on Sunday.
But
Us
they
in
all
Houston,
they all matter, Gibby. There's a playoff component in all of them except for Washington and the Jets.
Not
Everything
this one.
else has playoff. This is the only one that doesn't.
Yeah.
This is the only bad one.
Real quick, Nana says, no poison, Gibbe. You guys, she was delighted to have things to give them. You guys provide so much entertainment for her while she's watching the show and painting.
Well,
So
my wife was ecstatic with the jam. She's already got ideas for the appetizer on Christmas Day.
Get on like a nice, like a thin, like a good kind of cracker, one of those ones that's kind of the dark ones, like rosemary-ish and
a nice
raisin, whatever.
Nice warm brie.
A little warm brie. Oh, it's gonna be a delight on a warm brie. You kidding me?
That's what she brought up.
You're talking Limburger, and it's brie time, baby.
Washington 4-10 playing out the string. They've lost 5 in a row. Washington traveling to Jersey to take on the New York Football Jets, who've been eliminated. They're 5-9. Don't worry, Aaron Rodgers is on the bench. He'll be able to watch it from the sidelines. Bishop.
Commies.
Woo!
Commies.
Why are the Jets favored in this game with Trevor Siemian? It makes no sense.
I don't know.
And thus, Jets 4, Commies 0. Makes no sense to me. That one is a complete, it's farcical.
That's 3 straight makes no sense, though.
Agreed.
So it's a weird week.
Weird week, yeah.
Up next, I don't think Mike Vrabel will be wearing a cowboy hat on Sunday, but Tennessee, they're done. 5-9. They welcome in the 7-7 Seattle
Who's
Seahawks.
playing quarterback for them?
I believe Geno is going to play quarterback.
Who's playing quarterback for the Titans?
I have no idea.
Tannehill?
Tannehill if Levis can't go.
Zagura.
I think there's probably got to be a little bit of quit in these Titans. They are eliminated last week. They blew it against the Houston Texans. I think Seattle's talented. Just saw Jackson Smith and Jiggle with that nice catch from Drew Lock. They've got Metcalf. They got Lockett, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet. I just think they have more weapons. They're a better team. They're more explosive. Seattle 88, Tennessee -3.
Same, but different.
Oh,
Seattle 81, Tennessee 79.
Oh God. Why do we have so many differences? Gross.
Not the Christmas spirit
like
here.
it.
Carolina, 2-12. Big win last week against the gutless Falcons, welcoming in another gutless team. I'm going to throw them in the loop now.
These guys have sucked.
Green Bay,
weeks.
6-8. Still playoff hopes alive, but I don't know. Bishop, lead us.
Yeah, Carolina maybe won their Super Bowl, getting their second win last week. I think this is where it ends. Green Bay wins an ugly one, 21-14.
Carolina's 2 wins have come as home dogs. What happened to Green Bay? Who are they? What do they stand for?
Know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I don't know that right now they should be
believe
favored.
in anything. Lebowski.
Yeah, nihilists.
Nihilists.
Green Bay 5, Carolina 1.
Onward we go, and the
It's
Detroit
like 6
Lions.
straight opposites.
I don't like it.
Yeah. The Detroit Lions a chance to win the NFC Norris Division on Sunday. Lions 10-4 on the road, visiting the 2-4 at home Minnesota Vikings. I'm assuming what's his face? Still
Lions ram it.
Vikings?
Nick
Yeah,
Mullins
same. Lions ram it. Lions ram it.
by 1 billion.
I'm into that. I'm fine with that. Trevor Lawrence practicing today, but still in concussion protocol, but clearly trending the right direction. Good news, it's probably a car ride if they need to get him somewhere on Sunday morning. It's a battle of North Florida. Jacksonville visiting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 7-7, first place in the NFC South. Jacksonville a 3-way tie for first in the AFC South. Bishop, I believe.
This is another one. This one went a 1.5 to Tampa Bay from yesterday. I don't know.
Close and in person. I think the Bears run away with this one, 31-13. The Bears.
Yeah, as a DJ Moore owner, I'm hopeful with that as well because if Fields goes nuts, he'll go nuts. I'm with you. I think the matchup sits up really sweet for them. They're motivated. Like, they want to play for Fields. A lot of the guys on that team like him. They don't want to move off of him. I think they play really well as well. I like Chicago huge.
Our game is the big one at 1 o'clock, the big one at 4 o'clock. You could make an argument for Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, but this is the big one. The Cowboys, 10-4, 3-4 away from home. They have one good win against a team with a winning record. Sunday Night Football. Happy Christmas Eve, everybody.
Goodness.
Patriots on the road visiting the Denver Broncos. Patriots 3-11. Broncos are 7-7. They're still in it. Come on, New England. Give us a little Christmas gift.
Yeah, they've been better with Zappy the last couple of weeks. I think it continues. Denver wins, but I think it's close, 24-21.
Same.
Oh,
Yeah, I already had that
all
one
right.
in. That was good. That one was easy for me the whole way.
All right, to Monday we go. Triple header NFL action. Kick things off early afternoon. The Kansas City Chiefs hosting Las Vegas and the Raiders. The Raiders still in it by a hair on the chin, 6-8. Chiefs 9-5. Zagura.
The Chiefs are. I think it'll be similar to the game against New England. It'll be close, interesting for a little while, but ultimately they will pull away. I like the Chiefs getting Pacheco back. Chiefs 45, Raiders 31.
Some big numbers
Same.
here on a Monday.
Yeah, same.
Middle of the day, again, just go eat food and take a nap. Open some gifts. I don't know. Do it for the children. The Eagles playing host to the New York Football Giants.
This one moved a 1.5 too. It was 12. Now it's 13.5. I really don't care what it is. I think Philly gets right and they win by 2 scores.
Philly will be
14.
in first place by Tuesday morning in the NFL.
Tommy Cutlets, come on. He went to the pizzeria for
28-14.
free. There's some good
28-14.
karma there. No. Eagles
G-Men.
28. G-Men 15.
Wow, right on it.
And then the one we're waiting for. You're waiting for this one. Monday Night Football live from the Not-So-Bay Area.
Nerd. Not so
Niners,
Bay Area. It is the
Ravens.
Bay Area.
It's not the Bay Area.
What do you mean?
It's like Santa Clara. It's like San Jose.
Now we've reached peak Gibbe. We've now reached peak Gibbe. Gibbe, west side of Cleveland, telling Bay Area native Zagura what constitutes the Bay Area.
That is the tip of the South Bay, of the Bay. That is South Bay. It's the Bay Area. That is
Bay Area
in the Bay Area.
geography.
You learn something new
How
every
could you
day.
possibly
talking
know?
about?
How could you possibly
What are
know?
we talking
You
about
left.
right
when you
All
went
I
to
know
the
is
South for
it
college.
takes a train to get back to downtown San Francisco.
Well, yeah, but is Oakland in the Bay Area? Yeah, that's across the bay on a bridge. Then you have, imagine if you had San Francisco here, Oakland here, and then at this corner of
Look,
it, make a triangle.
They
That's
should be
where
playing in
San
San
Jose is.
Francisco. They're
Santa
not playing
Clara.
in San
Fine.
Francisco.
That's
49ers,
Fine,
Ravens.
okay, fine.
Come on, Pedro, make a call.
Niners.
Nate. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about how now Jerry Rice is saying that Brock Purdy reminds of Joe Montana.
He's better than Montana.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
I was like, this is blasphemy. I'm upset. You're saying hurtful words and ignoring everything I'm saying and saying like as if I'm saying the opposite. And then my dad goes, it's true. I was like, wait a second.
What?
Would you stop? The guy had, let him at least win a Super Bowl or, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 before we start calling him Joe Montana. Like, what are we? I was like, Dad, stop it. I was like, you got to stop this right now. Enough.
It's enough.
It's enough.
That said, Niners.
Slump town.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Comfortable. Very comfortable. Our score coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Radio Network.
Guys are up.
Game day, Ken and Gerard, 11 a.m. The kickoff show with Andy and Tyvis, and then at 1 o'clock from NRG Stadium, it is Andrew Siciliano, Z, and Gerard on the call. Browns at Texans. Bury them.
Let's go, baby. There are a lot of scenarios in which the Browns can clinch, but it all starts with a W in Houston. Sorry, Case Keenum, not your time. It's the Browns' time. Browns 27, comfortable 17.
I like it. Samesies. Have a safe trip down there, my friend. Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to all of you out there listening. We're so appreciative of the audience. We never take it for granted. We love each and every one of you, so thank you very much. The next level is coming up next. We are back on Tuesday. Thanks for listening, buddy. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.